The Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks played in New York yesterday, and a viral clip has been going around social media. Actually, two. One was Brunson-DiVincenzo allegedly saying something to Tibbs, which was then debunked after the game. He did not say it to, well, he said it to Tibbs, but they definitely got him out of context. He did not say what people thought he said. However, this was not. So for those who couldn't really hear him clearly, what he said was, that's what happens when they let you run the show. And then after the fact, specifically targeted towards Jalen Brunson's dad, Rick Brunson. And then after the game, they had a little bit of a confrontation. Dante and Rick Brunson had to be... All right. So I think the conversation the timeline is having is purely about the new rivalry between the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. But truly, I do feel like there's a bigger conversation to be had here, specifically with Rick Brunson, because if y'all remember when Mark Cuban and Jalen Brunson had that podcast, Mark Cuban essentially was alluding to the fact that Rick Brunson's involvement, and there was just some family things involved as to why the deal did not go through with Jalen Brunson not re-signing with the Dallas Mavericks. And then this situation came about again with Dante DiVincenzo. Clearly, there's some smoke specifically targeted towards Rick Brunson. And the conversation I want to have today is about NBA dads. Because I know this is such a crazy left turn, but also in these last 2 days, LeBron James added Call of Duty. Bronny just said he wanted his own skin at Activision, at Call of Duty. Talk to me. And then Call of Duty responds, we know Bronny is a shooter. Let's talk. First father-son duo in NBA history. Now, to be honest with you, there's a big conversation going around this with just Bronny alone over this past year. Obviously, these two examples are not the only father and son athlete duo combinations we can talk about as well. But do we feel as if there's a problem with NBA dads getting a little bit too involved in these athletes' lives where like business can cross over, specifically with these last two examples with Bronny and LeBron, Jalen Brunson and his dad, and other examples I can name off? Or is this just a nothing burger and Twitter's just bugging?
I was gonna let Damo go first, but I'll start it off. For me, I definitely think that I definitely think that it's a tough call, because if it's all fun and games until you're their father, and it is like, why would I not ask for my son to get more money? Why would I not try to get my son a Call of Duty skin if he wants one? Things like that. Like, that's my kid. So it's never going to be an objective answer, and even if there is never going to change anything, because at the end of the day, a parent's going to do the most, talk the most shit, and stunt for their child. Now, I guess an issue is whether said child can see that their career is getting hindered, like how people tried to argue LeVar Ball was doing to Lonzo once upon a time, or how I don't know if you guys remember, but I think Kawhi and his uncle or something like that. I know we're talking about fathers, but Kawhi and his uncle, they had a couple of scandals or whatever the fuck going on with them. So I think that's a certain talking point there where it's like, all right, now these players need to stand up to their family members or whatever and be like, yo, I need this done, or I think this person's trying to do better for me, or whatever. Cool. But I think ultimately, without yapping too much in the intro, yeah, I don't think this is ever going to change. It's never a good thing when you hear someone outside of the sport is impacting it largely, but that's their kid. I can't get but so mad at it.
Let me ask Damo this. And in any other situation, we'll take it. And somebody might say like sports is a special case. In any other situation, if somebody's parent was this involved in decision making for that child, what would we be saying about it?
First instinct is to say it's overbearing parent.
That shit would be weird, right? They would be, what are you doing? If you was at your job and you work now, and little Tommy, your coworker, his dad came up there and was telling the manager, when Tommy's gonna work, what off days Tommy needs. It's time for, I don't know, boosts in pay. It's time for pay raises. It's not Tommy talking. It's Tommy's daddy talking. This shit is weird, right? Like we would be like, whoa, what's
Yeah,
What's-
100% weird.
so why is it? Is somebody gonna give me some BS special case stuff? Why is it in this situation are we not calling a spade a spade? That's weird. It's weird. He's a grown man. These are grown men with the ability to make grown decisions. Somebody in the comments is gonna say, well, they appoint agents. That's a difference between your dad, your parent, and somebody that is hired to help you in these regards, handle your business manners and stuff like that. I think that it can be too much. It's kind of hard because he's a coach now. So what can you say? But we know for a fact, I know Don was going to talk about it. This has some implications on like how teams view you as a player. LeVar Ball. We know that. Good, bad, or indifferent, how the player is. We know that these have implications on how your child is perceived by GMs and ownership. Cut it out.
I'm just a little confused because I feel like historically you've been pretty pro nepotism on this podcast because, hey, if you got the opportunity to unlock opportunities for your child, if anything, it's a bad thing that you're just like not doing it. Because I remember Shaq said something about his kids like having to earn everything. Oh, you got to earn everything the hard way. And we were like, come on, man.
Nepotism is cool. Nepotism is great. Nepotism is not his daddy on the bench chirping at the other players to the point where they have to be separated at the end of the game. Nepotism isn't his daddy in the contract negotiations. If he was advising from the outside, I think that's a different thing. But from the way that Mark Cuban said that, it's not like he was in the contract negotiations. That's not nepotism. I don't think that that's nepotism to where you can't talk for yourself. That's different.
I just feel like in this instance, this is a situation where I feel like it's very weird. Once I found out that his dad was on the coaching staff and he was on the last coaching staff of the last team he was on, it made me really start thinking about what is his motive and what does he have going on with this. We've already seen the clips of him pushing him when he was a kid, and people have their thoughts and opinions on how people push their kids and the things that come from that. Speaking on this situation alone, I think this relationship is a bit weird. There's an overall talking point about NBA dads in general, and me personally, I'm always pro nepotism, and I feel like each situation is definitely dependent on the dad. There are different dads. A lot of these dads are dadding different ways. You have LeBrons, you got Gilberts, you got Kenyans, you got your LeVars, you got your Marvin Bagley dads, you got your De'Aaron Fox dads. It's a case by case situation. I have no issue pointing out the bad cases, the people who are doing it. I would say wrong, like people who I would say wrong. In situations like that, in terms of his family being a part of any negotiations he's had, I feel like that's for any professional athlete. A lot of these professional athletes rely on their parents or that sole parent or whoever it is. They rely on that input a little too much, and that's just I don't want to say a crutch, but I feel like that's normal. If it's getting to the point where your dad is now on the coaching staff because of you, I feel like that's crossing the line. That's kind of it's a bit strange, but I don't want to make it seem like that's my whole issue with all NBA dads. Because I know not all NBA dads are this bad. It truly is case by case.
I think when I hear you, and let me say this real quick. I think when I hear you is when it becomes bad, right? I think that even Trae Young's dad, sometimes his tweets can go viral. Like I'm not. If his tweet goes viral, it is what it is. But if I hear you, if your daddy is one of the topics on SportsCenter, ESPN First Take the next day, FS1, whatever the case may be, at that point, it's too much.
So can I ask John Moran's dad, you felt that was too much?
I think the difference between what he was doing, because I don't remember him being involved in anything. I think that they made a lot of it because he was courtside, invisible. Now, when they started, go ahead.
I would just say, but that's still a situation where I do agree. He wasn't one of those people that you would just see on Twitter going crazy, talking about the team or whatever it is, disrespecting people. He didn't even seem like a person that was being constant annoyance at a game. but it was just the Memphis Grizzlies themselves. That organization turned him into a thing, and then it became a national thing. You know,
I can
he
see
looked
that.
like Usher thing. But then he became someone you heard from. He became this pseudo celebrity. He's dapping up AD before games. He's trash talking with players, and now that's being picked up. So now you're hearing him. Is this now becoming a problem, or is it well, the Grizzlies created it? How can we say it's a problem?
I can agree with that. I'm let me change my stance there. I'm probably more 95-5. Like it's you've made it a thing, and to the point, I'll tell you when they should have cut that shit out when the whole Shannon Sharp thing happened.
Yeah, I was going to remind you
Fair,
that
very fair.
He had a confrontation with Shannon Sharp. I guess for me, and I just wanted to talk because I didn't attack directly the case like everybody did. Apologies on that. When we're talking about specifically the Jalen Brunson thing, I mean, again, he's going to do what he can for his kid. But I guess for me, I think it's a little odd, not even at contract negotiation time. I think it'd be odd if Jalen didn't ask a family member, and if in this case his father or somebody that he truly cares about and he knows cares about him, yo, how do you feel about this or whatever? So I wouldn't even necessarily say there. However, if it gets to a point, and Omar kind of alluded to it with his analogy of if it trends, for me, it's kind of if I, as a grown man, have any way, shape, or form of a thought that somewhat rekindles a Dad, you're embarrassing me type of thing going on, then it's like, all right, dude. Now you have yapped enough. You've pushed boundaries way too far. The idea that like everybody in the world knows, and this is just a matter of how people move when they reach a certain level of status. Everybody sees that me, Brunson-DiVincenzo, we're mostly boys for the part, and they already got the clip of Dante talking crazy. But then you going double down, and now we got to separate you and shit like that. Now it's like, all right, pops.
Remember, Dante DiVincenzo was one of the groomsmen at Jalen Brunson's wedding.
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody know we cool, and here you are making a big deal out of it. If anything, you should know, hey, gang, he already said what he said. I gotta talk to that nigga after or off camera or some shit like that. But it's a crash out moment. But then I'll say this, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like. LeBron James, he gonna get a lot of shit for what he did. I have zero issue with it because that's his kid. Like, what the fuck? If he has a chance to get the nigga in Call of Duty, fine. Or like if what else? If LeVar Ball wants to go on television and say my son's the best in the world before he get drafted. Okay, cool, fine. So I think it's a blurred line, as Damo mentioned, is case by case, but I definitely think there is a limit to, all right, bro, I get that your kid, but like, let your kid be a man. He's not a kid anymore.
Hey, you listening in the background, come here real quick. I've got an offer for you from prizepicks.com, the favorite daily fantasy sports platform for the Let's Keep It a Buck podcast.
Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players is what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app.
And we're going to show you how to make our prize picks right now. Ever since Kirk Cousins touched down in the A, he's been playing my way. I've got Kirk Cousins and passing yards going for the more every single week. And you know our crosstown rivals can never get any love from me, so I'm taking less on anything Alvin Kamara related. Rushing yards, give me less, B-Souls.
We're going to go ahead and put $10 on this lineup, click submit lineup, and boom, that is how you make a lineup on Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com and use code LKIB to receive a guaranteed $50 once you place a $5 lineup.
Remember, that's code LKIB on Prize Picks, and tell them Omeezy sent you. I think that, again, because like, hey, I agree with what you're saying. Like you asking, because I do this with my brother. Even when we get deals or whatever the case may be, I'll ask him because he has some knowledge in the content creation world. Yo, this is what Prize Picks is offering. This is what, you know, Manscaped, SeatGeek, Captain America, whoever Sony is offering. This is what they offering to us. These are the, you know, ins and outs numbers. What do you think? Never, and I assume this to be the case based off of how they talk. Never would I sit down in a call, us Prize Picks and my brother, and never would I ever then like tell us, let you know, Lo got it real quick. He got it real quick. That to me is like, all right, we're at that point it's too much. This is becoming too. Who am I? Even from the other end of the spectrum, I'd be like, who am I dealing with right now? Am I dealing with this person? Am I dealing with this person? Can we talk? Can we build a relationship or rapport? Like, I get it. This your dad. You respect him. He was a former player, artist. But at the end of the day, Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks are trying to have conversation with Jalen Brunson. We're not trying to sign Rick Brunson.
Well, that's my next question to y'all is, would y'all look at the player in a different light if they moved around this way? A la Jalen Brunson,
If
a la
the
Lonzo,
player-
just letting LeVar go crazy, and I'm just letting dad be dad. That's what we always do, type shit.
It's one thing if he's like, yeah, that's dad. Dad gonna be dad. But it's another thing if, and what I thought you were asking is if Jalen Brunson was literally like, hold on real quick. Hey, Rick, so they offer me like 82 million. It's like,
I think that's, but I think that's what's happening though.
I do look at the player different because at that point, it's one in terms of competition, and a competition like the NBA, they pick apart anything they can about you. Oh, this motherfucker has no individuality. Oh my God. Hell, even in business, Nick, we could be talking about working at Five Guys. You want to be one of the Five Guys for real. And this nigga is just gonna be, the junior. All right, but like, no, bro, I'm nah. So that's where I think the limit is. Obviously, we don't know every detail about Rick Brunson and Jalen Brunson's negotiations or whatever. Cuban could be lying for all we fucking know. But yeah, I just think at some point, let your kid be a man.
I personally, I think people are gonna hate what I'm about to say, and this comparison I'm gonna make. I know people want to leave the comparisons, but it's just how I get down. I view the relationship with Rick Brunson and Jalen Brunson how I viewed that friend you had back in the neighborhood who his parents is not letting him watch SpongeBob. That nigga watching VeggieTales every night. It's like, hey, to me, in his house, that is crazy. VeggieTales? No SpongeBob? Insane. It works for them. He got all A's, 4.0. What you gonna tell him? It's a system that works. There are strict households. There are families and people that have relationships that you just can't fathom. And until it becomes very, very disgusting or very, very illegal in terms of the relationship, I can just sit back and be like, if it works, it works. Looking at the situation that Jalen Brunson is in, and the generational wealth it's providing his family, but genuinely his family by getting his dad jobs with 2 NBA franchises. If that's how it works for them, that's how it works for them. Would I want that? No. Would I put my foot down? Absolutely. But am I mad at Jalen Brunson because he was literally bred for this and this is all he knows? This is his life. He knows to be, hey, his dad is a pivotal contributor to the decisions he makes when it comes to his basketball career. And up until this point, it has done nothing but gotten him success doing this. I can't be mad at it.
Well, let me say, I don't think even Sage is like coming from this perspective either. From the perspective of if we were Jalen Brunson, are we mad at it? If we could pull it off, would we do it? Yeah, like that's perfectly fine. And we've seen situations like this from teams before. You know, Tim Duncan was supposed to go to Orlando. Doc Rivers told him he couldn't bring his girlfriend on the plane. And so you lose out on Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is like, hey, I found some place that will let me bring my girlfriend on the team plane. And that's cool. Like that's cool from their perspective. From the other end of this perspective, from the management side, if I'm on the management side, I'm looking at you crazy. I could only imagine if I text in the group message, Bezos texting in the group message, we text in the group message, yo, I gotta have a serious conversation. I'm thinking about leaving the pod. I gotta have a serious conversation. You know, we got a $50,000-$60,000 deal, and we got to make a decision about it. Okay, cool. We set the meeting for 3 p.m. tomorrow, and my girl shows up.
You pull up and everybody just has their parent next to them. Oh man, what the hell is going on?
And mind you, and I'm not saying this is how it was at the table. Parent first, Sage behind the shoulder. No, I'm here, y'all. Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I want to reiterate, not even just for the comment there, but like, we're on the internet, soft chance, but like, I'm not saying that Rick Brunson is doing all of these things to Jalen or Bron is doing this to Bron or anything like that. We ultimately are NBA fans. We don't get the full context, but just in the general conversation of like how this goes, Bezos, to answer your question, I'm definitely judging if for whatever reason we was talking about, all right, bro, we gonna have serious conversations. I might lead the pod, and I brought and you just seen TSO mommy in the chair.
TSO
you niggas didn't judge me. I would think y'all fucking weird. I'd be like, what the hell? This nigga didn't make his own decision. If I talk my mom offline, fine, but I didn't make my own decision in the meeting. Oh,
and the only reason why we're talking about it from that perspective, and like Damo said, it's working for him. The flip side of that, it's not working for Tim Hardaway Jr. It's not. It's not working for LiAngelo Ball.
I picked up on that too late.
It's not working for some of these dudes, and we never the difference.
If they not them type shit.
And
It's not even that they not them. It's not even that though. I mean, LiAngelo Ball, burn bridges, like you said. GMs and teams will look at you for the things that you do. And outside of LeVar being his dad, how many teams wants a 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" power forward that's stretching the floor? Not a lot.
It sounds like he not him.
And on top of that, he's a thief. Don't nobody want Jameis Winston? Like, not of the basketball world. He's a thief. They don't want that. That's a mark on him. Tim Hardaway Jr., the problem is he didn't start trying to receive his real nepotism in the public until he was a 13-year vet. He waited too late. Where was Tim early in his career with these complaints when he was in New York getting holed for getting his shots? Tim was not very vocal back then. But if Tim was vocal this entire time, it may have been different for Tim Hardaway Jr. You wait until they get a generational talent to lead the team, and he goes on a shooting slump and come off the bench. Man, they look so much better when Luka is off the ball. Now you want to say something? That's why it's not working.
I get it. I think we only talk about this from a success point. Like, what did Jalen Brunson even have that night? Let's say he had 20-something. Like, it's all right, your daddy was chirping. It's cool. He got 20. I don't know what them offline conversations look like because, Dante did not seem to be happy. That's cool and all. I hope it doesn't come, but there might be a day where he becomes a 7-point per game scorer. Are we having the same conversations at that point?
I wonder what Dante's issue with Rick was specifically, though. Because it seems like him and Tibbs are cool, but something about Rick is like,
probably some
I don't know, piss him off.
Probably some shit talk and or role management. You guys made news to me that he was a part of the coaching staff. Was he a part of the coaching staff of the Mavs or the Knicks?
Both.
Damn. So yeah. Damn. Yeah. So I mean, maybe he not fucking with some of the plays that he was calling. And I
he probably was the coach.
That's literally what was going on. What happens when you're in charge.
He was the coach that told him his role would be lessened when Mikal got there. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'm over here thinking to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. Rick threw Dante under the bus, okay? Because they could have got rid of Josh Hart, but I hate to be that guy. They could have got rid of Josh Hart. They honestly, Tibbs was probably fighting. No, Dante is more flexible, the shooting and the playment, and he said, nah, Miles McBride Deuce is ready, man. Deuce is ready.
Nah, if
Dante Deuce
for Miles McBride, Jesus Christ.
Really, I wish you would have gave up him instead of IQ. You feel me? So I don't know. I don't know, man. We would
Rick in the call, and I already talked to Jalen about it, and he agrees.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We gotta tell Jalen. Don't even ask Jalen.
Look at how they stood at the wedding. Dante was he was the last groomsman. Just saying.
That had to be what it was, man. You got to think about it. This what happens when they let you run the show. Him running the show is Dante not being there. You got to read between the lines, man.
Dante was supposed to be the best man.
He wasn't, man.
It was Mikal. Damn. Got benched twice type shit.
Mikal? Oh my God, again?
It's my turn, head ass.
Wasn't he only? I think Dante was only there for 1 year for real too, though. In
Yeah,
Villanova. Yeah, Villanova. Yeah, I mean, it is what you drew the short end of the stick. You hooped on him the other night. I just think these daddies need to.
I hope y'all not lying though. He was on both coaches' staffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wherever Jalen Brunson was, that's where he was as a coach. Which
That's
is crazy. When I found out,
I'm going to say now that your motives are obvious at that point.
Well, I think Rick went to New York first, and then they were saying that influenced Jalen signing with New York.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I kept asking. I was like, I want.
That's worse though, because remember,
I'm about to say even nastier.
I may be wrong on that, but
no, I heard the same thing you heard.
No, that sound right. So I'm gonna believe it. Nasty.
Oh, what? Chat, comments, help us out there. But yeah, either way,
don't be misinformation.
No, I do think that's how that happened though. Like he left first, and then the Mavs was probably telling him like, because the story, like he was like, oh yeah, they just put it off. The Mavs told him like, yo, what day is this? The 14th? All right, I gotta go take my mom to her doctor's appointment. I won't be back to the 17th. Let's have a conversation then. Rick calling from New York. Son, I'm in the Big Apple. Oh my God, it's lovely here. There's so many bad bitches. Listen, when they said they was gonna talk to you, ugh. I got James Dolan
Is that
right
Hov?
here. Yeah, I got James Dolan right here. Hov, can you pass the phone to James Dolan? No, don't give it to Beyonce. Not okay.
And now
After you get done,
50 Cent. You know
Casey
this is-
Neistat, Kai.
Casey 3000.
Finally, it gets to James Dolan. Ah, man, how you doing today, man? Listen, let me just cash app you real quick. And that's how it went.
Cash App. Oh my God.
They got different limits on their Cash App page.
True.
They got different limits. And they sponsor probably. I'm definitely sending it on Cash App.
It's like,
No, selling it.